Well, hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we're making some keychains. Well, I don't know about you guys, but every once in a while you'll find in a drawer or hanging in a cupboard a key or several keys, and you have no clue what they're for. Something that when you first got it, you had great intentions of labeling it, but you never did. Well, on today's show, I'm going to show you what I like to do to alleviate that problem, and it all starts off with some scrap stock from the woodpile. Well, I've gone over to the wood rack and found some 1/4-inch maple. Now, for the particular one that I'm doing at the moment, it's going to be extra keys for my bike locks. So all I've done is I've gone on the computer and using an Excel program, I've chosen a font that I like, and I've just typed out bike locks. And we're now going to transfer this pattern onto our maple. I like to use graphite paper. So all I'm going to do is lay a little bit of graphite paper down here. I'm going to secure it in place, and then I'm going to secure my pattern for my bike lock keychain on top of that. In order to transfer it, it's as simple as getting a pen and tracing over top of your lines. So I'm going to trace it all, and then when I get it done, we can move on to the next step. I'll show you where to go from there. What we're going to need now is we're going to need our wood burner. It's going to be a simple line burning. So I'm just using a writing tip, and as well I have a small skew tip on here. Now as well, I have my fan here that I showed on one of my introduction videos to wood burning, and this will draw the smoke away from me so I'm not inhaling it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp this on the bench to keep it still, and we're going to start tracing out the perimeter of all of our letters. So using the writing tip, I'm just going to trace all of our letters. Now while we're at it, what we can do is this one hole here, the letter B, we know that it's completely shaded in. So we might as well use this tip and color it. You just want to use light pressure and we'll get that colored in. So go around your piece now and trace all of your lines, and remember, you can color in whatever needs to be colored in as you go. Now right there at the K, my pen got stuck in the wood grain and it caused it to blob a little bit, but I'm okay with that because I can repair that in the shadow area later. Remember I said you could shade in the smaller parts that need to be shaded in, and this section of the E is one of them. Okay, so there we have the word bike. So where do we go from here? I'm not going to carry on doing locks and that sort of thing, not for the video anyway. Well, at this point now, we want to go around with all of our writing tip here and draw the rest of the lines for our shadow areas. We can refer to our original pattern to make sure that everything is looking right, but we will just outline all of those. So let's get them marked out and then we can start coloring them in. Okay, I've just turned off the fan so you can hear me just a little better. We've got those lines drawn out. Now there's several ways that you can go about this. If you want to use a shading tip, you can use a shading tip. If you want to use the skew like what I got out, you can use the skew. As it turns out right now, I'm having pretty good results with this writing tip, so I'm going to continue with that. And using my original pattern as reference, I'm going to shade all of the areas that I just drew out in order to give them that kind of funky look that I liked in the original font. And at this point now we have our word bike done. Now there are a couple areas that are not 100% perfect, so we can go around with a razor blade here. Let me just show you that. I see that the line on the E, just at the bottom of the E, is not perfectly straight. You can take a little razor blade here, just like this, just a little X-Acto knife, and we can scrape the edge of that to clean it up and get it straight. Now it depends on how picky you are, really. For me, I kind of like the imperfection of a wood burning like this. It shows that it's hand done and not so machine based or machine oriented. Everyone's always caught up on perfection. And that's one of the joys of this wood burning stuff, is that it doesn't have to be perfect. But there, if you're so inclined, you can go around and tidy it up just like that. So this is what I'm going to do now. I am going to finish up all of my wood burning of the word locks. We don't need a video of it. I'm going to burn it and then I'm going to take you through the next step in this, because it's not all about the burning. So I'll come back and see you when I've got this all burned. Now, just before I carry on with the project, I want to show you something here. I do not have the fan on. I just want to show you this here. Watch where the smoke goes. Let me just do it down here where it's easier to see, hopefully. Can you see all that smoke that's just rising up? A lot of it, it's hard to see with the camera, is just coming straight at me. Now let me turn the fan on and I'll show you the difference. Can you see that? Gone. It is all being dragged quite aggressively away from me who is working on it. So I'll just show you one more time without the fan, and I'll just burn another little piece right here. Just look at that. It's all coming up in the lens. It's all coming up all over where I am. It's everywhere. Turn that fan on. Look at the difference. Okay, so for those of you who think that wood burning without a vent fan running is a good idea, you know what? Do as you please, but I will continue to use the vent fan. Either way, let's move on with this project. And what I'm going to do here now is, this is something that's personal preference, but I want to join this area right here. So I'm just going to make a little line between here, and I'm going to make another little line kind of here like this. And lastly, right here at the end by our B, I'm going to place a circle. Doesn't matter what size, whatever size looks good to you. Let's do this. What I'm going to do is just join this up carefully here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now we're going to take this over to the scroll saw and we're going to cut this out. Now I have a number 3 reverse tooth blade in here, and I'm just going to carefully cut around the perimeter of our letters using our lines that we drew in between bike and locks to join the two words together. And then we're going to cut around the edge of the circle that we drew. And there we have our cutout burning. Now, I drilled a 3/16 hole here in the end, and what I have is a bunch of these. And this is, they're basically key rings that I picked up off of Amazon, but instead of being a ring, they coil around. They're kind of like small aircraft cable that's been coated with a rubberized coating, and they curl around and then they just screw together at the one end. And when they do that, they form this cool little key ring. I love these things. They come in different colors, and all you need to do is put them through your 3/16 hole there, and then you can add all of, in this case, my bike lock keys. Now I have quite a few bike lock keys, some for my bike carrier, some for my bike locks, some etc, etc, etc. But all 5 of these are for various bike locks that I have. And you can just screw this together just like this, give it a little tighten. It's got quite a bit of thread so that it doesn't come undone. And there we go. There's the end of it. There. And there is your keychain. And hang this up now when you're, for me anyway, on the off season of bike riding. I will never again wonder what these keys are for. Maybe not so much these ones. These are obvious because they're very identifiable. They're very unique. But this one, it's a master key. I mean, how many master keys do we have kicking around and you really don't know what they're for? So there you go. There is the end of our little project. So there you go. I'm going to sand the back of this, and that's our keyring done. And there you have it. Custom keychains. Guys, this is a great opportunity for several things. 1, it's a great chance to practice on your scroll saw work, and 2, it's a great chance to practice on your wood burning. If these are 2 crafts that you're interested in getting involved in, these are fantastic little projects to get that extra practice in to learn certain techniques. You don't have to do line drawings. And although that's what I've done on the bike locks one, there are all kinds of other techniques that you can use. You can use shading, like the whole 9 yards. I've made quite a few of these, and they are extremely handy. You are only limited by your imagination, and it doesn't have to be letters. This one here, let's say, that I made for the light on, or the lock rather, on my large lighthouse that I made for the garden. Check that out. It's not a matter of being limited to a printout of letters on your computer. You can just draw it out. And that's all I've done here is I've drawn a shape of a lighthouse and then drawn out the letters lighthouse to fill the space. And I came up with this. Load of fun. I sat at my desk for like an hour, hour and a half, whatever it took, and just burned away and had some fun with it when I had some spare time. There's two ways that you can go about this. You can either cut it afterwards, like what I did here with these letters, or in the case of the lighthouse one, I cut it first. It all depends on the shape and size of your keychain. But use your imagination. Do whatever is comfortable. I usually find that it's more comfortable and it's more user-friendly for me to work on a larger piece and then cut it out on the scroll saw afterwards. You may find the opposite, and if that's what works for you, then that's what works for you, and that's what you should do. Just because I do it a certain way doesn't mean that you have to. So, you know what? Do it the way that you see fit. Now these little key rings, these screw together key rings that I showed you, I'll post the link to those below, but if you are one of these people that like your traditional split rings for your keys, no problem. You could just take a little small eye hook and put it in the end of your piece of wood, and that can attach on to your split ring for your keys. Great little project, loads of fun, and you know what? Again, use your imagination, because the more you get into it and the more imagination you use, you know what? It's all good. It's all fun. You really got to give it a try. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I wasn't going to film today's show, actually. I wasn't going to put it out there because I didn't really think it was worthy of an episode of the program. Not that it's not a worthy project. It's just, I'm not sure how it would be received. And then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, if one person out there likes it and one person out there enjoys it and one person gets enough out of it to inspire them to try it themselves, then the show was worth posting. And that's why it's here today. So honestly, guys, give this a try. Do not brush it off. If you have no access to wood burning, how about just drawing it out and scrolling it? That could work too. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell so that you don't miss the notifications of future episodes of the show. This has been a lot of fun. It's a great way to spend some spare time sitting there doing a little bit of wood burning and possibly a little bit of scrolling. And I hope that you've enjoyed it, guys. I hope you're going to try this for yourself. And more importantly, I honestly hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another Alternative Tuesday.